Hello and welcome to an Arsenal Fan TV podcast. It's an FA Cup final special. I'm your host Giles, and on tonight's podcast we have regular Callum.
All right.
You right?
Yeah, not bad, thank you.
Good man. We've also got two special guests. We've got Des Powell. How you doing, Des?
I'm very well, Giles. Thank you very much. Hello,
good man. Good man. And we've also got Raymond from REDaction Gooners.
Hi,
good evening,
thanks for having me on, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Great stuff, great. Right, so we're all looking forward to Saturday's showpiece at Wemberlee, back again after a long period of absence. It's been, for me, I don't know about you guys, but for me so far this week it's been quite low-key. I don't know whether it's because the media haven't really sort of focused on it, but it's only now beginning. I mean, I've got the Evening Standard this evening, we've got a double-page spread, and so on and so forth. I'm sure tomorrow and Saturday it starts to build up. But I want to ask you guys how you're feeling about Saturday. So I'm going to start with you, Ray. What do you reckon? I mean, how are you feeling? Are you nervous, excited? Is it trepidation or?
I think I'm simultaneously excited and terrified. I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's been a few years since we've been there. Obviously it could all go wrong, but I think we can be confident. You know, we found a little bit of form there in the last half a dozen league games. The creative players are back and they're in some decent form. So, you know, if you look back to how we were playing in the run-up to the semi-final, we were really struggling to put the ball in the net, and there wasn't really much happening in the final third, but we've got some important players back now, and, you know, Giroud scored a couple of goals recently, so I think we can be confident for Saturday.
Yeah. Des, you know, yourself, you've been around for a few of these, going by experience, how are you bracing yourself? How you keep yourself calm for Saturday?
Pretty much like Ray. I mean, like, yeah, you're confident, but there's always that in the back of your mind, that trepidation of, you know, we've seen it. If anyone can do it, Arsenal can do it, you know. And but what I feel this time more than anything is that we've got a team of level-headed players who are not going to panic. You know, they'll get on with the job, go out and do the job. And that's what's keeping me confident for Saturday.
Cool. All right. Callum, I'm going to ask you, do you think he'll go with pretty much the same team he put out against Norwich last weekend, or do you think there'll be a couple of changes to that squad?
I think the team will be pretty straightforward. You'd imagine Jenkinson will drop out, Sanya will move to right back, and Mertesacker will come back in. And I think the one thing we're not really sure about is whether or not Fabianski was played last weekend as a kind of goodbye match, or if it was warm-up for the final. I'd like to see Fabianski start, but I'm not really sure whether or not he's going to bring Szczesny in. But I think apart from that, the team really picks itself. You know, the back four we've had all season, Arteta, Ramsey, Cazorla, Özil, Podolski, and then Giroud. I mean, I heard a couple of things about maybe Sonogo starting, but I really hope that isn't the case, being it's such an important match. And I think Oxlade-Chamberlain's not going to be fit enough either. So I think, apart from maybe the goalkeeping position, where it's going to be pretty straightforward, the lineup.
Yeah. Ray, what do you make of the... there's a couple of issues that are going around with the goalkeeper situation, and then there's Vermaelen, who I read in the newspaper, is finding it, you know, it's kind of an odd situation for him being the captain, and most likely, if everybody's fit, he'll sit it out. And then we've got this new development of maybe Sonogo starting. What are your feelings? I mean, who would you go with?
Well, I think that the goalkeeper thing is, I think we've got two good goalkeepers in form. So, to be honest, I'm not so worried about that. I mean, Fabianski's done great all the way through the run. You know, people forget how good he was in that Liverpool game. You know, he was man of the match, even though we were 2-0 up and stuff, but he had a fantastic game, you know, after 90 minutes. The Vermaelen thing, I mean, the guy's not going to play if Koscielny and Mertesacker are both there. I know he's a club captain and that, but quite rightly, you know, club captain or not, if you've two better players in your position and you don't play. So, it might be a bit weird when it, you know, if we manage to win the cup, but and then the Sonogo thing, I don't think that's going to happen. I think people are just it's a little bit of a dig at the manager. I think with the Bayern Munich thing, and Sonogo played against them and stuff, but Giroud's been in decent form, so I'll be astonished if he didn't play.
Yeah. Do you reckon that then, Des? Or?
Yeah, I'm the same. I think with the goalkeeping thing, I think that as well as Fabianski's done, he is moving on at the end of the season, and this game is such a big game for our future that Szczesny's got to play. If we win on Saturday, then that's the springboard for what comes next. And
I mean,
Chesney's going to be a part of that rather than Fabianski, so he needs to play on Saturday.
so I mean, people have said that they've used situations in the past where I think the first time Wenger did it was when Richard Wright was playing all the way up until the 2001 or was it 2002 final, and then Seaman come in, and then latterly in the 2005 FA Cup run he was playing Almunia, and then David Seaman come in. But there's not so much to choose between them, is there, Des? I mean,
there isn't, but as I say, if Fabianski's moving on at the end of the season, there's no room for sentiment at the moment at Arsenal. We need to go out there, win this game, and push on from it. And I think Szczesny's a big part of that. So for me, he needs to play on Saturday.
What kind of how do you think Hull City will line up, Des, on Saturday? We went there over to the Humber side a couple of weeks ago, and we gave them a good stuffing after they started out pretty well. I mean, how do you see that one going? How do you see them coming out playing?
I can see them coming out and playing completely without fear. They've got a good manager in Bruce, who's been there and done it all, and he's gonna say to them, look, no one's expecting you to do anything, so go out and do something, And I just think that they can play without any kind of fear, and sometimes that can work for you, or it can work against you, and I'm just hoping that our players are going to be professional enough to just get in amongst them, find them out early, and put the game to bed. I really do. That's all I can see happening on Saturday, really.
Cal, I mean, there's in the back of your mind there's always 2011, isn't there?
Well, I wish I shared Des's confidence, but I'm kind of. I mean, the thing is, like, we beat Hull 2-0 earlier in the season, comfortable. And even Bentner scored against them, and then we went to the KC Stadium 3 weeks ago, or wherever it was, and beat them 3-0. And I don't know, it almost feels like, based on that, obviously, if you're neutral, you'd be like, oh, Arsenal should win comfortably, but you just know that it's going to be more difficult. I mean, I heard, I think earlier today that over the last decade, every cup final has only been separated by one goal. I mean, even when Chelsea played Portsmouth, they only beat them 2-1 or something like that. So even though when there's a goal from class on the sides, it's so rarely ever clear cut. And also with regards to the way they play, I mean, when we played them in the league a few weeks ago, they had Long and they had Jelavic available. They played a 4-4-2, and that backfired on them. So the fact that they were beaten comfortably with a 4-4-2 and their two best strikers were unavailable, I'll be absolutely astonished if he does anything other than a 4-5-1 just to try and break the midfield up. You can guarantee that Huddleston will be, getting at Ramsey and, leaving a few late tackles in. So, and they know if it comes 60th minute or whatever, we haven't scored yet, the fans are going to get nervy, and there's the weight of history on everyone's shoulders. So, I think I would love for us to get an early goal to really. I think if we can get the early goal, then we're looking good. But the longer we leave it at 0-0, the more confident Hull are going to feel. So they're going to sit deep. They're going to try and frustrate us. And if we're on our day, we should beat them. But it's cup football. You never know. But I'm confident, and while simultaneously absolutely shitting myself. But we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Ray, the semi-final game was torturous, wasn't it? It was a terrible time and sitting through it, wasn't it? I mean, it felt like a weight of expectation sort of like carried, was weighing heavy on their shoulders.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was very near to being a complete disaster. I mean, there's so many Arsenal fans there. We had most of the stadium. Expectation was massive. We were just like, let's just get these done and then just get to the final. And it didn't go to plan, but like I was saying earlier, we were struggling in the league there as well. We weren't really informed. So, it was no really surprises on the day. It's just playing a team from the lower divisions like that you expect to beat. A lot of the fans, the expectations were high, and we just didn't play on the day. And, even getting a late equaliser. I mean, the 20 minutes when we were 1-0 down for 20 minutes and it was absolute poison in that stadium, in the supporters, there was people, rolling in the aisles, fighting each other, in front of me, real horrible kind of day. We managed to get back in it and then we absolutely scraped through on penalties. But, that's all forgotten on Saturday. We're in the cup final, so we found a bit of form, so, let's go and win the cup.
Yeah.
Do you think... Go on, Des.
No, that's what I think, the difference is between this Arsenal team and previous. Is the fans who are getting more agitated than the actual players these days. I think that we've got a really level-headed side now, and they didn't panic against Wigan. They could have done. And, they came through and done the job. It wasn't pretty by any means, and it was torturous, as Ray said, it was torturous. But at no time did you see the players getting frustrated or drop their heads or try to do anything rash. You know what I mean? They kept their heads well, I thought, that day. And I think that'll take them through on Saturday. I really do.
Let's talk about rituals or any superstitions. Do any of you have any sort of superstitions, any sort of ritual that you go through in the lead up to Saturday? I'm going to start with you, Cal.
Oh God, I don't know. It's kind of, I try not to think about it, but inevitably all I do is spend all day kind of looking up team news and all this kind of stuff. And no, I wouldn't say I have any rituals. When the game actually starts, I might kind of, normally with these kind of games, I like to be on my own because I know how horrible they are, and I don't really enjoy being in the company of others. But I'll be out on Saturday. But no, I wouldn't have any rituals. I'm just gonna. You just know that the lead up to the game is going to be incredibly slow, and you kind of want it to just come and go and deal with whatever happens. And come Saturday night, I'll either be absolutely over the moon or I'll be absolutely distraught. But no, I don't have any rituals. It's just trying to get through the day without having a nervous breakdown, really.
Ray, do you keep any rabbit's foots or dirty lucky socks or pants or anything like that?
A few years ago, I was absolutely crippled with superstitions on match days, but I think I've grown out of them a little bit now. I think I deliberately left a lot of them behind at Highbury. But I think just one of them is just I can't try not to look at my phone too much, just in the hour or two before the game. Be in the pub, having a few drinks with some close friends, and just having a good time and not be worrying about what's going on Twitter or what people are saying or even the team news and stuff like that. Some people can't wait to get the team news, but I'm fairly relaxed about it really, and just want to try and enjoy the day, I think.
Des, will you try and enjoy it as much as you can, in the lead up to it?
Yeah, like I say, it's not easy to enjoy these kind of games. But as much as you want to get the cup finals, they can be absolute torture for you, But as Ray said, I'm sort of grown out of my superstitions now. I used to have so many, I couldn't tell you them all, But even down to my route to the ground, if I took the wrong route one day, I was guaranteed we was going to lose. That's how they got, But no, I just want to get over there. Like Callum, I like to be on my own at a final. It's nice to be around people but at a final, I like to be on my own and do my own thing, really. Yeah. And that's what I'm doing on Saturday. I'm sitting on my own. So.
You're just not fun to be around, when you're racked with nerves, when you're just so pent up and you don't. There's some games where I'm just awful to be around because I'm just a kind of a shaking wreck, and I can't imagine how I'm going to be on Saturday. But it would be nice if we're 3-0 up after 20 minutes, wouldn't it? But the way that the semi-final went and a few other big games, it doesn't feel like that's going to happen, is it? We'll either lose or we'll win in excruciating fashion. That's kind of what I'm preparing myself for either way. The heart's not going to have a good time, whatever way it goes.
I usually get a haircut on the morning of the game. That's with the same barber. If he's not there, then I fall to pieces. So hopefully.
Have you booked in ahead of time?
I have, and the thing is, he's a spud as well. So
oh God, he might not turn up.
He might not turn up or give me a really shit haircut. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Oh, you tempted fate, Giles. I tell you. If we lose,
I know.
It's on your head. I
know. Let's move on to preparations in terms of atmosphere and that sort of stuff. Ray, Hull City and Arsenal supporters are sort of, well, I don't know if it's a Hull City initiative or an Arsenal initiative or a collaborative thing, but there is something going on about the 56th minute. There's going to be some sort of remembrance. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I think it was kicked off by Hull fans, really, and I think Arsenal fans noticed it was going on, and then they kind of helped promote it on social media. So it's just a thing about the anniversary of the Bradford fire was a few days ago, maybe a week ago, and a lot of people commented that there was no real recognition of it. There was a Premier League weekend and the other games that were going on. There was no minute silence or black armbands or anything like that, and a lot of people didn't like that. Other anniversaries are quite rightly marked in some ways, but this wasn't. So I think the fans really just kind of got together and said that they don't think it's right. 56 innocent people died at a football match all those years ago, and I think the Hull City fans have said that they wanted to mark it, and Arsenal fans have 100% agreed with that. So it has grown a little bit. And on the 56th minute, I think there's just going to be a round of applause, basically. So, you know, it's quite difficult to manage because if, you know, there's a goal scored in the 55th or something like that, then a lot of people might have the best intentions but might completely forget about it. So, you know, with a bit of luck, there'll be a couple of minutes of downtime in the game, not much happening, and people can just focus on that for a minute or two and, you know, mark that anniversary as people want to do.
And yourselves, a REDaction, I mean, what you got planned for the cup final in terms of banners and you know, paraphernalia?
Sure. Well, it's slightly different because obviously we don't have the same kind of jurisdiction that we do at Emirates, but we've got a few things planned. We've got the big 49 flag, the crowd surfer, the 15-metre square one. That's going to be there, going over the crowd before the game. So look out for that. And anybody that's underneath it, please give us a hand with that. The Believe banner, which we've had since the quarter final, just to kind of get everybody motivated and, you know, believing into the fact that we can win a trophy this year, which was at the Everton quarter final, and then it was also at Wembley for Wigan as well. That's going to be there. And a few other things like that. But we're also encouraging people to wear red as well. Sounds a bit, you know, sounds a bit obvious and a bit stupid, but, you know, turn our whole end red, you know, wear your Arsenal colours. And then the FA have actually organised for the mini flags to be on every seat. Now, mini flags aren't everybody's cup of tea, and we've got a bit of a bad association with them as Arsenal because a couple of times we've done it, things haven't turned out right on the pitch. But the FA have provided them. Hull City fans are also going to have their own little flags. So one team is going to end up being lucky with them, and obviously one team unlucky. So we've heard a few negative comments on that, but I think we just got to forget about that, and everybody's just got to enjoy their day and get behind the team.
Indeed. Down the years, I mean, has it always been sort of the same kind of, you know, generating that kind of atmosphere down the years, or has it sort of changed recently?
In regards to what, Giles?
Arsenal, you know, the fans at the FA Cup final, in terms of, has it become more stringent or more sort of strict in terms of what you can display and what you can do and what you can't do at the cup final?
You know, Arsenal are helping us out there because, you know, we got in touch with them straight after the semi-final and said, look, what can we do for Wembley? And obviously they're keen because it'll, you know, motivate their supporters. It's good PR for them, and obviously if it motivates the team as well, and we end up winning a trophy, then everyone's happy. You know, a lot of people wanted to do a card display. I mean, the Bayern Munich thing from earlier in the year is just still running, really. People were still getting good feedback about that all the time, and people were like, can we do another card display for Wembley? But it's not quite as practical because obviously we don't have the whole stadium. You know, only about 30% of Arsenal fans are going to be making up the crowd, so it wouldn't quite work. So we've been able to do that and worked with Arsenal, worked with Wembley and the FA, and just trying to get a few things done. But for the previous finals, I mean, obviously it's our first at Wembley for ages, but you know, REDaction started in 04 and we didn't really have anything going for 05 in Cardiff, so this is kind of our first experience of a cup final from the atmosphere angle as well.
And has it been quite difficult logistically, or is it sort of the same as you would at Emirates, or just on a smaller scale?
Yeah, I mean, what they will be doing is a lot of it will be managed by third parties. So, you know, they don't know us, so they're not going to let us pitch side, they're not going to let us here or there. So a lot of it will be managed by like events company and maybe by Wembley Stadium themselves. So that, you know, that's good for us because it means more drinking time.
Good stuff. All right, let's go down memory lane. I mean, I don't know, the first cup final that I remember as a little lad was the 79 to 5-minute final. Not that I remember that much about it, but I just remember a guy with an afro going mad after scoring a late winner in a yellow jersey, and I thought, well, who's that? And my dad said, oh, some guy from Arsenal who's got the same name as a northern city or something like that. And you know, that was my first ever experience of watching a cup final. I'm going to start with you, Des. What was your first experience of Arsenal at a cup final?
The 71 cup final was my first one. Well, really, first FA Cup. I remember in the 69 League Cup final against Swindon, but I was very young, and I didn't really get it too much. But coming to 71, I was all over it. And I lived in Islington at the time, and in our street you could not move for good luck messages, banners. There was flags from one side of the street to the other, from the top of the street to the bottom of the street. Everybody was behind the team. And just driving through Islington this week, you wouldn't even know that there was a cup final. It's really sad, you know. But that's just the sign of the times, I guess.
Yeah. Ray, when was your first memory of Arsenal in the FA Cup final?
Well, I'm going to say 93 because you know, I was a teenager then, and that was when I was really starting to get into the games and stuff. 79 came a bit too early for me, but I tried for it. I was going quite regularly then. Tried for a ticket for the first game, couldn't get it, but managed to get a ticket for the replay. Queued up round Highbury on whatever it was, Monday or Tuesday morning for the game on Thursday night, and you know, we won. I think the kickoff was delayed actually, and then there was extra time, and Andy Linnigan scored about 11:15, I think, and you know, by the time we celebrated and got out of there, it was nearly midnight. So I do remember that, and it was you know, it's a great day, and it was one of the first you know, trophies I'd seen win with kind of inside the stadium. So I was absolutely hooked and loved it.
Indeed. Callum.
Well, I mean, I'm only 21, so unfortunately my years supporting Arsenal have kind of coincided with a relatively, 9-year drought. But I remember I was only 13 when we won the FA Cup in 2005, but I remember that game on the fact that I remember Manchester United absolutely outplayed us, but we beat them on penalties, which was hilarious. And unfortunately, you know, I remember the League Cup final in 2007, and in 2011, I remember I was away on a family function that day. I really didn't want to go to it, but I had to. And then I remember coming back in about the 88th minute, I had the radio on, running into the house, turning on the TV just to see Chesney drop the ball and Martins to knock it into the net. So that wasn't a very good day. So I'm hoping that this will be a bit of change in fortunes on Saturday anyway.
Des, let me ask you about the 79 final. Did you make it down to Wembley that day?
I did in 79, yeah. I went all three, the 78, 79 and 80 finals.
Right.
And,
take us through each one of those. I mean, what do you remember about? I don't even remember. Who did we play in 78?
Ipswich.
Oh, we lost.
Unfortunately, we lost 1-0.
Yeah.
You know, but we was big favourites that day, you know, and but we just never turned up at all that day, and they come out and played really well at Ipswich and returned us over 1-0. But the following year against United, we went out all guns blazing, 2-0 up at half time. Absolutely dire for the rest of the game. You know, there was nothing happened until 86 minutes, and they scored. A minute later, got the equaliser, and then 30 seconds, a minute later, we got the winner. That's why they call it the 5-minute final, because it was all done and dusted in 5 minutes. But the following year against West Ham, we lost again, same as against Ipswich, just never got started. Absolutely never got started. They was in the second division at the time.
Yeah.
West Ham. But as I say, but my first real final was the 71 one where Charlie George scored the winner.
That was an iconic image, wasn't it?
It's you know, I'm 50 years of age now, but I don't care. He's still my hero. And if I bumped him in the street, I would melt, because he did what we all want to do. He came off the terraces onto the pitch and he scored the winner at Wembley. Amazing stories.
Indeed. And then through the 90s, we were kind of, you know, we were known as the Cup. It's funny thing is, Tottenham always known as the Cup Kings, but we've had more. We've been in a lot more finals through the years, haven't we? I mean, we had the mid-90s where we were going to FA Cup finals, League Cup finals, Cup Winners' Cup finals, and so on and so forth, weren't we?
I'll tell you what, Giles, Tottenham have a lot of things in my house, but Cup Kings ain't one of them.
It's amazing, isn't it? Like they've been given this tag since the beginning of time, but we've had a lot more sort of history when it comes to cup finals, haven't we, Ray?
Yeah, well, for years.
You know,
I mean, I think they were level with. Well, they level with Aston Villa for a long time,
yeah,
who'd won the cup, and then you look at like Man United and Arsenal, and they've completely overtaken them. I think they're on 10 and 11 now, since this famous Cup Kings thing a few years ago. So that's long gone. I mean, they've got nowhere near a final for however long. So who cares about them? This is an Arsenal podcast anyway. Let's not talk about that lot.
Yeah.
But am I right in saying that we've reached? Is it the most semi-finals or the most finals?
I think it's both now. I believe it's both now. Yeah, I know we had the semi-final record for a while, but I think we've pulled clear of Man United now with this extra final appearance. But I'm not really a stats man, so I might be wrong there.
And you know, again in the noughties, we went to a few. Didn't we? Had 2001 where we lost to Liverpool. That was heartbreaking, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, they never. I think didn't Honcho handle the ball on the line or something like that?
Exactly what happened there. It was going. Omri went round the keeper, was putting it in the net, and then Honcho slid in, put it round the post of his hand, and the referee gave a goal kick. We never even got a corner. Should have been a red card. We never even got a corner. They gave a goal kick, and then from that point on, we absolutely pummeled them. And you know, finally got a goal after missing 10 chances, and then Michael Owen scored twice in 5 minutes near the end, and we were absolutely robbed.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it took, you know, just going back a couple of years further, I know it wasn't a final, but the Villa Park replay in '99 as well, you know, talking about low points as an Arsenal fan, in the FA Cup, you know, right up there, right at the end of the season, we were still battling with Man United for the league, and then playing, you know, goal down to Man United at Villa Park, got it back in it, they went down to 10, that last minute penalty, missed it, and then we got beaten extra time, and then there was that one, and then the Liverpool final just mentioned. They're two of the worst defeats I've ever had, and honestly, I never got over either of those until we lifted the cup against Chelsea the following year.
There's, do you remember those cup finals, those cup games? Well,
yeah, I went.
That was in Cardiff, wasn't it? The 2000. Is that when it started going, when it's relocated to Cardiff, or was it when?
The first one was 2001. That was the first Cardiff final that we were in. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and I was lucky enough to go down with the team on that occasion.
Mm-hmm.
My mum.
How did you swing that in?
Well, my mum was the mayor of Islington that year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, she went down as their guest, as guest of the club. So we went to the training ground first thing in the morning, me and my mum, and we travelled down with the players' wives. The players were already there. We travelled down with the players' wives and families, and had a pre-match lunch and what have you. Sat in the almost like the Royal Box sort of thing, watched the game, got beat, and then we all came back on the plane together with all the players, you know. And Tony Adams got upset a few words, and but the mood was really, really down amongst the players. You could tell, you know. But
what did they say about, you know, the Honcho incident? Were they livid? I mean, did they think that was a turning point, or, you know, what do you remember from what were their recollections?
Well, luckily enough, I sat next to Arsene Wenger on the way back.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy got up on the plane and he said, look, he said, try not to. He said, the players are coming on now. He said, they're all very down after losing the game, so try not to, you know, don't drive them mad, asking them questions, blah, blah, blah. I sat next to Arsene Wenger. He started talking to me about the game. You know, and how I saw it and blah. I said, we slaughtered them. I said, you know, and he said, what do you think of the incident with Honcho? And I said, well, it's diabolical. He said, it's worse than that. He said, why did we not get, he said, why was it not a corner? You know, he said, we didn't even get a corner out of it. Yeah. He said, let alone the penalty and the goal. You know? But he was an absolute gentleman, and but the players were very, very down after that. But what you could tell from them was that they couldn't wait for the season to start again, to go again. You know, that was the last game of the season, obviously, and they could not wait to get going again. And then they came back the following year and beat Chelsea. And
we done a double that year.
We did,
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Kind of, what were your memories of 2000? Because you would have probably have clearer memories of those games, isn't it? 2000.
Well, I mean, I've seen the highlights enough times with the 2002 final, and I vaguely remember the 2003. I can't remember if it was the semi-final or the final where Seaman made that unbelievable save.
Oh yes,
was it the semi-finals?
Yes, yeah.
And I remember that extreme. I don't remember much from that age, to be honest, but I remember that really clearly. And I remember that save, and to this day, whenever the topic of you know, great saves or comes up, that's the one that always comes to my mind. It was, you know, I'll still watch it back. I mean, Seaman wasn't exactly a spring chicken then, was he, when he pulled that off?
He was coming to the end of his run.
Exactly, and you look at him, that save, and that was absolutely incredible. And so yeah, I don't have a huge amount of memory from that. And you know, I've watched Ray Parler's goal on YouTube enough times from 2002, but no, I don't. First hand, the only thing I really remember from 2003 was that Seaman save, really.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if we were playing against a top team and he made that save, it'd probably be given more recognition. Do you reckon, lads? Or
it was such a unique save, you know, to be from that far behind, and then not only did he get a hand to it, but he had, when he was in mid-air, to actually
push it away from
somehow
danger.
stop the ball from going straight in the goal and the other way with a kind of flick of the wrist. I mean, it's just, I think it does get some recognition, you know, but you know, it was 11 years ago now, so these things are often forgotten in time, aren't they? Saves aren't as well remembered as goals, but I mean, there's no other save like it. You never see anything like that. There's all these diving saves that keepers make that are world class and all this, but to actually come to basically throw the ball off the line when it's behind you at the age of, you know, in your mid-30s, whatever, was incredible. But it deserves every bit of credit it gets, if not more, anyway.
Yeah. Ray, I don't really remember much about the Southampton final. I think did we win 2-0 or something like that?
Yeah, it was a pretty poor game. I mean, we scored in the second half, and that was about it. And then Southampton didn't really do much, and they gave us a bit of a scare in the last 5 minutes. But I think it was a poor game, really, from what I recall. But you know, we won the cup again, so I'll probably take that on Saturday, to be honest, if you offered it to me.
Yeah, and then going on to 2005, it's probably the one year we were supposed to be, all our luck was in, wasn't it, 2005? We didn't have a strike. If I remember, Henry was out injured, wasn't he? And we had to play an aging Burkamp up front on his own, and that was when we actually parked the bus, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean,
it's a rare thing.
I don't recall another time when we played for penalties, like I played for a draw, you know, under Wenger like that, but you know, I mean, United absolutely battered us. I mean, we were lucky to get to extra time, lucky to get 2 penalties, and then you thought, well, you know, whatever happens now, we've done pretty well, and you know, we Lehman saved from Skulls, and that was it really, and that was the time of all the Glazer stuff taking over Man United. So, you know, we were absolutely lording it over them, you know, before and after the match, and then we stole a couple from basically, and you know, we had a great day.
Yeah, I mean, Jose Mourinho would have been proud of that performance. That was like parking 11 buses, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what? I actually missed that final. All I saw was the penalty shootout. Mm-hmm. I was at a family sort of function, and in it I just went, I can't stand this any longer. I flew out, and I ran into the nearest pub, and it was just going to penalties. And that's all I saw was the penalty shootout. And obviously I watched the highlights later on. But all I can remember from the 2003 final was that the roof was closed.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that was all I can really remember from that game. I know Pires scored the winner, but apart from that, it was nothing in it.
Yeah.
It was a nothing game, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of erased that. I think that was around the time when a lot of second division clubs were coming. I think Millwall would played Man United a year later or something like that. They come up from the second division or championship, and you know, it was I don't know, that period of time. Cardiff was never really done it for me as a cup final venue. You know, it was always Wembley, wasn't it?
Oh,
you know,
I thought it was great. Fully enjoyed it. I mean, we were so successful there, and you know, we were going for the cup, and then we were going for the Charity Shield, and it was like a second home. There was even a couple of semi-finals there, you know, a couple of years in a row. So, I mean, I loved it. I mean, you know, Wembley's on our doorstep and stuff, but people still moan about it. But I hugely enjoyed our years in Cardiff. Yeah,
great place to go to, Cardiff. Horrible place to all come out of, though. Oh, terrible coming out of there. Even if you'd won, it was just nightmare journey. But great game, Dan. Brilliant.
Okay, cool. All right, so just wanted to know, like, over the years, Des, crowd, you know, the atmosphere at those games. I mean, how has it changed since '71 to present day? Has it changed for the better, or has it lost a bit of luster for you, or what?
It never loses luster for me. You know, I mean, I love going to football matches, especially Arsenal. You know, I only go to Arsenal games, you know, but you know, I love going to football matches. But cup finals, they always seemed better years ago because maybe I was younger, you know what I mean, and I got more into it, you know what I mean, I got more into the spirit of it all. Whereas now, you know, I'm not an old fogey, but I'll go there and I'll sit and watch the game and pick points out of the game rather than, you know, just screaming and shouting for 90 minutes, you know. But it always, when you look back, it's always nicer to look back on games than the present day ones. But I guess they're pretty much the same. And Saturday, I'm so excited about Saturday. I can't wait to get over it. I really can't.
So, will you be drinking down at the Green Man, or will you be going up Wemberley Way, or will you head straight from home to the ground and avoid everybody that you can?
Do you know what? I haven't made any plans at all yet. You know, I know people are going, and I'm gonna have to sort it all out tomorrow. But I haven't made a single arrangement to meet anybody or do anything yet. But you know, that's just where I am. But I'm sure I'll meet people, and we're going to have a few drinks before the game, and then I'll get in there and just bite my nails for 90 minutes.
Callum, are you going to retreat from society from tomorrow evening? Or
well, I haven't decided yet. I might go around to mates and watch it and revel in it, but I'll only really enjoy that if we're 3-0 up. But no, I haven't decided myself really. It's kind of crept up on me, and so I'm not 100% sure yet. Ideally, I'd like to just sit on my own for a bit and just deal with the match in my own way. But obviously, if you win, then afterwards you want to be with other people and get hammered and stuff. But I'll wait and see really.
Raymond, just for people that are listening that might be going down to the game, do you know which pubs are Arsenal pubs? I mean, obviously you've got the Green Man and Mannion's. What other pubs are good for Arsenal fans going up Wemberley Way? Off
the top of my head, I couldn't tell you, but if you look at the REDaction Twitter account earlier today, we did tweet just the link from the Arsenal.com website, which has got a list of all the official Arsenal delegated pubs. So they're not necessarily, obviously there's a load of other pubs there, but these are the ones when the police split, the pubs on either side of the stadium to match where the fans are sitting. Those are the ones that are official designated Arsenal pubs. But then you look at all the other pubs that are, a short tube stop away. So, for example, for the semi-final, the Globe at Baker Street was absolutely massive. The Engineer around there as well. A lot of pubs around Marylebone. It's difficult to say really. It depends what you want. If you want to have a sing-song and people put their flags up and all that kind of stuff from, 12, 1 o'clock, then I would say get probably to the Globe at Baker Street if that's what you want. But, the further you go away, obviously from any of the tube stations along the Metropolitan line, a bit quieter it'll be. So it'll all depend what you're after. But the information is on Arsenal.com if people want to go look that up, if they are looking for somewhere to go. But then also obviously a lot of fans without tickets want to watch the match in the company of other Arsenal fans. So all the pubs around Highbury and the Emirates, they'll all be showing it. There's a lot of ticketed events around there. A few quid to get in just so they can manage the numbers. REDaction are running the Rocket. We've got 500 tickets sold for the Rocket on Saturday, and then we've got another pub on Upper Street as well, which is completely sold out. So there's also a massive appetite for people just to go round Arsenal and watch it round there with a load of other gooners as well. Obviously, it's been a massive scramble for tickets. So all the people that haven't managed to get one and not sulking, they still want to get out and sample a bit of the atmosphere on the day.
So so the Emirates, how much are the tickets at the Emirates? Are they £5?
The Emirates are 10 quid, I think. But I think there's I've heard something about it's going to be the largest screening ever. There's going to be more people at that than there are Arsenal fans officially inside Wembley.
Unbelievable. They've got the big jumbotrons coming in, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they're putting the pictures on the screens on the pitch, which is quite unusual. So the view and everything will be good, but if you ask me, I'd rather watch it in a pub, to be honest. I'm not sure what the crowd's going to be like. It'll probably be quite a lot of junior gunners and lads and dads and stuff like that, but good luck to them. But if you're old enough to get into a boozer, I'd say get into a boozer.
Indeed. And I know, you said the Tollington, is it the Gunners pub as well?
Yeah, the Gunners, the Arsenal Tavern, they're obviously doing ticket events for a reason, because they can't have 500 people turning up at, 20 minutes before kick-off. So I think if you're looking to buy a ticket for an event now, you're probably unlucky, because I know they all got snapped up really quick. I might be wrong. But obviously, right away around, Arsenal Station, Holloway Road, Finchley Park around there, all be packed. But if you go a bit further afield, 1 or 2 stops, I'm sure you'll find a nice pub with some big screens and a bit of space to watch the match in.
Cool. All right. I just want to ask another question before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
This week, there's been all this talk about how Arsenal were, we're tempting fate by putting up signs around Islington, about the parade and so on and so forth. And it's, but this is usual practice, isn't it? I mean, Hull City have done the same thing, haven't they?
Yeah, it's reality, but it's just people are going to keep it in their back pocket in case we get beaten, and we'll be seeing those pictures all over the place on Twitter and Facebook on Sunday morning. But it's the same thing with everything. And I'm sure in some bus garage somewhere there's an open top double decker bus with Arsenal.
Picture of that leaked today.
Written on it, and
that's right.
Stuff with Liverpool fans and Liverpool City Council trying to organise a possible parade and stuff, and people are trying to get stewards for it. And it's reality, unfortunately. I know people can be superstitious and stuff, but a lot of people want to see that parade. And with the World Cup, it's either got to happen on Sunday or not at all. So, pick one basically.
Mm-hmm. And do you know what the route is when we do win the cup and Sunday comes around?
Stop it.
Do you know what the route is?
As far as I know, it's from Emirates Stadium to the Town Hall and then back to Emirates Stadium, but I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, no, what it is, it's going from, the Drayton Park, the bridge.
Yep.
Where the big Arsenal is. Yeah.
Yep.
The concrete Arsenal. It's going from there, up Albert Park, through Ivory Barn, down Ivory Grove, St Paul's Road, Ivory Corner, up the street, and back the same way.
Right. Okay.
I think
Cool.
it's about 11 o'clock from the Emirates.
Okay, so that should be a good few hours, and it's going to be a good old day on Sunday, isn't it? Like, it's going to be glorious sunshine, so it should be a good turnout, shouldn't it?
Well, let's worry about Saturday first, eh?
Yeah. Stop it, guys. Go and get your hair cut. No. Stop all this nonsense. But that picture that leaked today of in this garage, someone had managed to sneak a picture of the big bus that's already got Arsenal FA Cup winners 2014. I mean, my confidence in us winning the match has just gone down by a few nodules after seeing that. I was just like, oh no. But you just know what it's going to be like if we fail. I don't think we will, but if we lose, it's going to be hell.
The whole football world wants us to lose, There's
definitely.
no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Everyone would love it for us to put another year on the clock with no trophies, so we just got to go in there.
Oh no, but I was laughing at Liverpool the last 2 weeks and Gerrard's slip and all that. I've been loving that, so.
Yeah, that's the nature of football fans, isn't it? You just take delight in the teams that you don't like doing poorly. So millions of people want us to lose, so we just got to make sure we disappoint them.
Yeah, absolutely. We won't lose. We'll be all right on Saturday. But to me, it's not about the trophies anyway. It's all about the Arsenal. The trophies will always come along when they're ready to come along. And
I'm ready for them to come along. I don't know about you.
I just want everyone to shut the hell up after this stupid drought thing. Like it's because when you get rid of that, people have an awful lot to slag us off. Tottenham are clinging on to that desperately. The only thing they got on us, but I just want it to end. It's been too many close shows.
And it gives us a good
problem,
spring.
It was never a problem, this drought thing. We went from 71 through to
79.
87 with just one FA Cup. It's a long time,
It's because I think it's probably because we won so much in the first half of Wenger's reign.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it can weigh on people. You look at, I watched the Benfica game last night, and they've got this famous curse on them where they lost 8 European Cup finals, and
that's terrible. Isn't it? Their own manager set the curse on him, didn't they, or something?
Oh, but yeah, well, he was described as the Jose Mourinho of his day, apparently, and when they sacked him after he'd won them 2 European Cups, he said they ain't going to win a major European trophy for 100 years, and I don't care what
they're halfway there.
I completely agree with the point that we've got a more headstrong squad. It's not as young or inexperienced as it was in 2011, but that will weigh on their minds. It happened. I mean, Benfica, they lost last night on penalties, and I'm sure that when they were playing the penalties or in extra time, not only that they're not having won in decades, but the fact that they lost the Europa League final last year must have been on their minds. And you know that if come 20, 30 minutes before the end and it's still 0-0, that it will creep in a little bit. And I don't want to be negative about it, but it's going to be, if we can win, it will be an absolutely huge weight off our chest, and I'm sure all the players recognise that as well.
I'm sure Yaya Janogo will come on and score.
I hope so. Or Bentley, you never know. He's training this week. So.
Yaya's the new Nicholas Anelka. He'll come on and score.
Sell him for 20 million to Real Madrid.
Yeah. But it will give us a good spirit. I mean, winning the FA Cup gives us a springboard, doesn't it, for next season, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I think if we win that, everyone will be buoyed, and is it really? I mean, it's more than just one trophy. It really is kind of setting saying to big, we can win trophies, and Özil signed last year, and a lot of people said, why does he want to go to Arsenal? And he said he wants to come win trophies, and it would be brilliant if he could get that first one out of the way in the first season. And I just want to see I love this group of players. I mean, there's some real great guys in that squad, and I want to see him with the trophy and really, you know, when you're looking at Man City last weekend with the title, I mean, it's been such a long. I want to see that again. You know, it's been such a long time, and even if people say it's funny, people have been downplaying the FA Cup just because we're in the final. You know, whereas for years when we're going out in the third round, fourth round, whatever, and people are saying, why aren't we taking it seriously? But you know, I think if we win it, it will be everyone has an absolute huge right to celebrate. And you know, but when I think about how good it would feel to see all the players celebrate and all that, it makes me more and more nervous that we might not do it. So. Yeah,
I mean, people like Mertesacker, you saw how
he's often spoken about being an Arsenal fan and growing up, but I think the FA Cup final was huge, and especially in countries like Germany and stuff. That was always, on television. You know, he's spoken about that a couple of times. So I think for foreign players, you know, not just the English guys that know what it's about. I think for the foreign players as well, it's always been seen as this big, illustrious trophy. They grew up watching it in all over Europe. So. It's comes with a huge, a huge amount of prestige and stuff, and I think obviously it's not the Premier League or the Champions League, but it's the FA Cup, you know. And
I know what you're saying about the players, but you know, I hope they just win it, you know, for the fans, all the fans who've followed them all over England, all over Europe for the past, 9 seasons with the ticket prices we've had and all these funny kick-off times and all those problems with following Arsenal, and we haven't won a bean. So, I'm not that worried about the players.
Well, no, definitely. It's just seeds after the match. You think about us. Yeah, I suppose the club needs it. I think it'll be a huge lift going into the next few years just to have
exactly. And as you say, Ray, it would take it away. It would just deflect attention from the 3% and the infighting amongst the fan base and. Who we would sign and all that sort of stuff.
I'm convinced on that, but I think just everyone's just got to enjoy it and get behind the team, and then hopefully we can win it, and everyone can celebrate it. Some of the bigger pictures, it's not going to hide the fact that the ticket prices are going up again, not for 1 minute. So, and a lot of people will still not be happy with the manager, and I don't think that any of that's going to go away. But let's focus on the positives. Let's try and win the cup, and then we can all enjoy it.
Also, I'd just like to say one more thing as well.
Go ahead.
The stadium needs a trophy. The Emirates needs a trophy. We've been there for 7 years now, whatever it is, and we have had no trophies to take back now. That's what needs a trophy, and then it'll finally be our own there. For me, anyway.
Yeah.
Everything's still entrenched in ivory at the moment. But also we need something to make that our own now.
Yeah, indeed.
Agree.
I was going to say, Ray, if we do win the cup, you'll be kicking yourself for not having a big, massive Wenger banner.
You know what, Giles, that'll be a conversation for another time, mate. I don't know where to start with that. We've already done most of an hour, so I'll have to take a week off work to talk about that one, I think. If I could just say one more thing about anyone who hasn't been to the cup final watching Arsenal before, the one thing I would definitely recommend is to get in your seat in time for a bide with me, because that is what Cup Final Day is all about, and it'll, listen to the whole ground singing that, great Cup Final hymn, massive, huge amount of years of tradition there, so get in your seat if you can for that, and sing your right out for the Arsenal.
That's it. If that don't get you going, nothing will. I'll tell you, you're right there, Ray.
Yeah, it's all about that. I mean, the Cup Final hymn is, that is what the Cup Final means. It'll make the hair stand up on the back of your neck and get the doubt to a good start. And then you've got the national anthem and all this other stuff you don't get at the run-of-the-mill football match. And then we'll try and win the cup.
Indeed. Okay, so that about wraps it up. I want to thank Callum for coming on. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, and our special guest, we've got Des Powell. And your Twitter handle is at dpowell248.
That's the one. Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Giles. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming on, Des. Thank you very much. And also to you, Ray. Thanks for coming back on and giving us all the information about the REDaction and what Arsenal fans can do and so on and so forth.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thanks for all the support that Arsenal Fan TV have given REDaction over the season.
Great stuff. All right, so that's Giles and the rest of the gang saying good night and wish you all a very, very good weekend. And hopefully we'll reconvene with a cup win. So that's the Arsenal Fan TV. Giles saying good night and God bless.
1, 2, 2, 2.